Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a fall book rec video. This is where I'm going to show you guys my favourite books to read in the fall time that are my must reads. We've got a pile of books from a book series to standalone books because I know some people like standalones and some people love series, so I've got a mix in here for you guys. So let's get straight into the video. If you have any book recs that you think are must reads that I have not added into this video, do comment them down below. I would love to see what your fall book recs are, and let's get straight on into this video. The first book series that I have is one that I'm currently in the middle of, which I know to say that I'm recommending this series and I'm still in the middle of reading it is kind of shocking, but this one is the Clifton series by Denvey Perry. I'm going to put it on screen because I'm currently reading these on Kindle Unlimited. I am on the 5th one. I've got 2 books and then I've finished the entire series and I've read them all this August. I wish I would have kept them for fall, but I saw it and I was like, I want a comfort, I'm going to start the first book. Didn't think anything of it and I've been addicted to this series. I'm recommending it to every single person that I can think of. It's literally all I can talk about. To say this is the first book that I'm recommending on here, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. So the book series is about a motorcycle gang. There is a small town aspect of this motorcycle gang and they are rivals to another gang like 3 hours away, and it is a motorcycle gang that isn't around anymore. They've disbanded, which you find out about and the reasons why, but they still have some conflict happening. There is murder, there is kidnapping, there is beautiful found families. If you enjoy the Eden series by Denvey Perry, this is a slightly darker version of that, but with motorcycles, and they are in this garage and everyone looks after everyone, and people who didn't think they had a family are getting involved, and it is just the most incredible book series ever and I am loving every single second of it. And you see throughout, so you see kind of like in the epilogues is in the future, but throughout the books you kind of see the people who are going to be in the series like coming along, something happening to them, and then it flows so beautifully together. It's not like one book there's this person and the next book there's this person and you're like, where did they come into it? They flow. This is why you can read this series back to back, because for example in the first book something happens and there's like loads of information missing and then you're like, I want to know this information, so you go into the second one gives you this information and you're like, oh okay, and then there's like some information left to go into the third one, and that's how it flows. And it is the most incredible addicting book series ever. I've never read book series back to back. I'm one of these people who will read the first book, wait a bit, read the second one, because I just don't want the series to end. But this one, no, I need to know now what is going on and what is happening, and that is why I love this series so much. It just hooks you from the beginning. It's one of those where you can go into it, you can have your cuppa, you can have a cozy blanket wrapped around you, and you just get straight on into it and you get engrossed. And it's one of those that if you read it by fire, it's perfect. You could read this any time of year, but I just have a feeling with how it is, it's like a perfect one for fall, going into them darker like nights, just a comfort read. It's one of those and I love it so much. If you've read this, do let me know. If this has now gone onto your TBR, please do let me know. I would love to see and hear about what you guys think of this series, because I've not heard very many people talk about it. I think it is one of her lesser known books, but I'm reading Denvey Perry's entire backlog, so I saw this, so I was like, this is coming on my TBR, and yeah, I absolutely love it. The next book, which I think is a perfect fall book rec, is All Roads Lead Here by Marina Zapata. This is a small town romance. It is a very slow burn. It is a chonker of a book and it is a slow burn. He's a next door neighbour. She moves in because of his son. He is a single dad, guys, because his son tried to sell off the loft so he can get some extra dosh for a guitar, and that's how it is. She moves in, he's like really grumpy, doesn't really want her there, and they fall in love, obviously. You know them books when you're like, I want to be cozy, I want to be with my cuppa, like any fall read. A slow burn, I just feel like, is the perfect kind of one, because you don't want something too quick where it's done, but you're like, all right, that's over now. You want something that lingers, something that keeps drawing you back, wanting to know what's happening, especially on them long nights that we're going to be starting to get. That is a vibe that we are needing, and this is the perfect book for that. It is based in the Canadian mountains, which is like the perfect fall setting in my brain. Like a small town just means fall. Like small town equals fall in my brain, and they're in Colorado. I'm a giraffe.
You guys say Colorado. I'm a giraffe.
Anywho, but yeah, it is both physically and emotional through its entire thing. They go on a journey and it is just incredible. She goes on a lot of walks due to the fact of her mother going missing, so there is that aspect of somebody's been missing. She wants to find out what's going on and what's happening, with also him being like this guy who goes out and saves people, and it's just one of those, and it is absolutely fantastic. If you've read this book, do let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on this book. I read this book in like a couple of days. I read this so quickly because it's just one of them books where you just want to devour every single second of it. The next one is for some people who just want something a bit darker, a bit twistier. We're getting into them darker nights. Some people are wanting more, like, what can I say, serial killer vibes. When it gets to autumn, winter time for myself, I do go more into my dark romance. I do go more into my fantasy books. Now this is a dark romance but with a rom-com edge, so it's perfect for them people who want something a bit lighter but also want the twisted, slightly darker side for them kind of autumn nights, and this is the perfect one. This is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. There is also Leather and Like, which is the second one in the series. Now I've done a full review on this because I did it as part of my new releases video. I will put it in the cards. This for me wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. However, Butcher and Blackbird, the first one, beautiful chef's kiss. Now it's two serial killers that meet so that they can go and kill each other. They do it over like quite a long period, I think about 5 years. They meet up every year to kill someone basically, and whoever kills them first wins. But Rowan falls in love with her, and it is just this beautiful mix of, he's a golden retriever serial killer, which you didn't think would work but works so well, and he's a chef, and she's an artist. She's kind of like a black cat, and they just click. It just works so well. It is definitely unconventional. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted. There is trigger warnings in this book. There is trigger warnings. For example, trigger content and trigger warnings. I'm just going to rattle off a few of them for you. Eyeballs and eye socket. There is amateur surgery, skin ornaments, chainsaws, axes, knives, scalpels and other sharp objects. Accidental cannibalism, which when you read it you're like, that is disgusting. I could not eat the food that it mentioned for a good couple of weeks, which is very upsetting once you find out what type of food it is, because I'm not going to tell you because it'll ruin the surprise. Also, not so accidental cannibalism. Questioning use mummification corpses. This one makes me laugh. I'm sorry about cookies and cream, ice cream. I'm not really. If you want to ruin some food, this is definitely a series to read, but this is so funny, so light-hearted, but with them twisted edges, and if that is your vibe, if that is what you're wanting, this is the book series for you. I would highly recommend this one. Now if you don't enjoy this one, do not go into the next one, but if you do enjoy this, try the next one. Some people absolutely love it. It wasn't for me, but some people did absolutely love it, so it might be for you. But I love this book and I will keep recommending it to every single person I know because it's just incredible. Now the next one is for them people who like something a bit taboo. You knew it was coming. How could I do a fall book rec without mentioning the queen herself, Miss Penelope Douglas. Miss Penelope Douglas, if you want books that are taboo, bit dark, bully romance, Miss Penelope Douglas has got you covered. I've not read her new book, which is Five Brothers. I want to, but unless I go book shopping, I'm not getting it because I'm not allowing myself to buy books unless I'm off book shopping with someone. It's Penelope Douglas and Credence. Now this is a very taboo book. It is stepbrothers and step uncles, not at the same time. The stepbrothers are at the same time, but not the step uncle, but everyone knows about it. You get locked in a cabin for months in winter due to the fact of where they live. They can't get down into the town because of snow, and you have to fend for yourself, you know. What more do you need in a book? This one is actually the American copy that you can get as it is beautiful, that you can get in Waterstones, because Waterstones are now selling the really nice copies of Penelope Douglas, which makes me so happy. I do have 2 copies of this book. We're not going in and talk about it. But yeah, this book, it pushes boundaries. It pushes you to be very confused. If you want something where you're like, what have I just read? This is the book for you. Quite a lot of people don't like it, but some of us out here, we like something like this. It's something that you'd go absolutely not to in real life, but happily read. And it's one of those, and I would highly recommend. I could not Fall's book rec video without mentioning my favourite author of all time. As you can see, I have all the books from about here down. All of that there is Penelope Douglas. I freaking love Penelope Douglas. But yeah, this is Credence. Credence is a great book. I would highly recommend everyone to read it, obviously. I'm a cup of tea. It is now officially perfect fall video because there is now a cuppa. Where were we up to? Now I need to remember which part I was up to. Now is for the hockey, sports, romance, girlies, or if you're wanting to get into ice hockey books, fall is the perfect time. This is the perfect series. It is the off-campus series by Elle Kennedy. Now, this book series is not the best ice hockey books out there, but if you've never read an ice hockey book before, this series is the perfect found family ice hockey book series that there is to start reading. This is how I got into ice hockey. I love every single book of these, but like I said, since starting my journey, there I found a lot better. But this is where everyone starts. This is where I recommend to start. You can get these books for not a bad price. In the works now, they've got their new covers. This is the old covers. As you can tell, they are not the world's prettiest. I didn't see the point in buying the new ones when I had them already. But yeah, I absolutely adore the off-campus series. I love it so much, and these books are some of my favourites to recommend people who have never read ice hockey before, because there is found family. Tick, everyone loves the found family. It's a very easy story to follow. There is not much going on. It's very funny, as you can tell. I did in fact tab some points because I reread this book and I was like, I need to tab some points in this book, because there is really funny, there is different tropes throughout. Now reading Elle Kennedy, I feel like she just copies quite a lot, so I'm a bit like on her, but I read that many, I'm very fussy, as probably some people might be if their favourite thing is ice hockey. But yeah, this is the perfect series to start with. There is chemistry, there is banter, there is drama, there is everything that you would expect from a college hockey friendship group. There is everything that you need and more in this series. I would highly recommend to read them. And if you enjoy this series, once you've read it, there is the Blair Youth series, and then after the Blair Youth series, there is a series about these people's kids that is coming out slowly over the time period. So you have the perfect kind of like massive series to be reading in fall. This is one of these that you can just binge one in a day. So if you have a lazy Sunday and just want to read a book in one go, this is a series to go for. I know in fall I love to binge book series, or I love to binge a book. I just want to sit being cozy, drinking cups of tea, not doing anything other than reading, and this is a series that I went for when I first did it, because I knew I could read one book in a day, and every single one of these I basically read in a day or two. And it's one of them where you literally sit and you're enthralled and you can't stop reading. You're like, I really should do something else, but I honestly don't want to. And that is when you know a book series is good. So if you've never read these, go pick these up. I highly recommend. The next series is another found family series, and it is another Denvey Perry series. Can we expect anything else from me when I'm going to say it's the Eden series? These books have my heart. I spent about 3 months reading these. If I did not force myself to read anything else, I would have just binged this entire series in one go, because that is what I'm known for. I literally bought Indigo Ridge for my birthday in Waterstones. I was like, I'm going to pick this up. I've been meaning to read this for a while. I know it's on my Kindle, but I'm going to pick it up physically. I literally was halfway through this. I ordered the rest of them. Now, if that doesn't say one thing about this book series, I don't know what will. These books are, every single one is different, but they all revolve around an Eden, which is the name of the family. There is chefs in this, there is cowboys, there is pilots, there is everything and more that you need. There is people who own the bakery. It's a small town that basically revolves around the Edens, and that is the thing. There is books in here that are perfect for summer, perfect for fall, but I just have a feeling like these books, Denvey Perry is just known in my brain as fall. So, you know, because this one, it's got a murder going on, it's got a new chief in town, it's got a rancher whose murder happened on the property, knows what's going on. Boom. Single mum comes to town, falls in love with the cook in the hotel that she's having to stay in and like help cook and clean and all of that jazz. This one is a second chance romance. Foster comes back, he's a UFC fighter. Here comes Talia, who's a doctor who's doing her residency, and yeah, this one is Eloise, and Eloise accidentally gets married to Foster's technically coach kind of situation. They gotta make it last. She almost gets killed by someone, a person who is trying to find the person who accidentally strangled Layla comes along. What more do I need to say? My final one and my favourite one, pilot Vera, who you get introduced to, and they fall in love over many years. He's a single dad, didn't realise he was going to be single dad, but then the mother died in childbirth. He's the only person who could look after this child, and boom. As I said before with the Clifton Forge series, a very similar thing happens. So in the end of each book, they follow along onto the next one. The epilogue follows onto the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. So you basically finish, you're like, I need to know what happens in the next one. Like, that happens, like, whoa. And they're the most gripping book series ever. It is a found family. You're reading the series and you feel like you are part of the Edens, which is the most special thing ever. So if this is like the perfect ones to kind of go into in fall when the weather's getting gloomier and the falls are leaving and you're having to like wrap up warm. This is like the series that you need because it's like a comfort. Just like it's a warm hug. This series is a warm hug. So I would highly recommend to read it. Now, these next two books, I don't have them physically in front of me because I have sold them. But if you're wanting a witchy vibe for a book series, the EX Hex and the Kiss Curse, these are 1 and 2 in a series. And they are about a little small town in America which have witches, but the witches you don't really know about, but they are there. There is romance, there is magic, it is cozy, and it's very thin books. You can get through them like that. Like, they're just one of them books where you just curl up, you have your hot chocolate or your tea or your coffee, you have your blanket, you curl up and you read and you get hooked into this magical era which is based in our world but has magic involved and witches, and there is romance, there is a bit of spice, not too spicy but a little bit of spice just to mix it up a bit, and it is the most warming and comforting book ever. It's filled with Halloween spirits because the whole town absolutely love Halloween, this small little town. So I would very recommend to read it around Halloween time. I read it in February, but then I saved the second one for around October time. This is like the perfect coming up to Halloween read. I would highly recommend. Now, I also don't have these books physically because I read them on my Kindle back like 2-3 years ago, and it's making a comeback again on Book Talk. So I want to talk to you guys about it, and that is the Zodiac Academy. I have read 1, 2 and 3. I'm currently going to be starting it up again, so I cannot wait. But these are pretty chonkers of a book. It is found family, an academy, zodiacs, bully romance. It is a darker romance mixed in with fae and magic and vampires and dragons and just like all of it all together. There is something going on that they have to fight whilst also fighting each other inside the academy, but they need to work as a team to make sure it works so that they can fight whatever's going on, because there is royals and there is elitists, and it is just political but not too difficult to understand book where it's just things merge and things clash, and it is just incredible. Now, as I said, I did read this a couple of years back and it is making a massive climb onto Book Talk again, so I'd very highly recommend to watch some book talks about it if you're interested, because as I said, I can't really remember the full premise of it. I need to do one of them recap videos, you know, where they tell you so much recap about what's happening in the book before I start the 4th one again. But I'll be getting onto that because I'm so excited to be reading it again. I may also do a reading vlog for the others because there is 9 in this series. There is 9, and then there's like spin-off series and a series you should read before it. I'm just going to read Zodiac. It's very confusing, but I think they also get traditionally published like about 3... Yeah, when I first started Book Talk, they kind of went boom and then they died off. And then it's just gone boom again like 3 years later, and it is incredible to see. I love this series because it reads like a Wattpad. That sounds awful, and some people might not like the feeling of reading like you're reading a Wattpad, but for me, I love a good old Wattpad. That's what started my reading journey many years ago, back when I was a kid. I think I was about 11 when I first got on Wattpad, but that's what started and kind of rekindled me to read again back when I was a kid. And I just love the feeling of a Wattpad sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to think. You don't want to think about anything, and that is a series to read. Now, the next one I'm going to suggest is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Now, this is a YA fantasy. The reason I'm saying this for fall time is because then you can read the next 2 in the series that are on my TBR for fall. But then you can also read the 4th one, which is coming out in April. So fall is a perfect time to read it. Now, this is my copy. I have also been and got it signed because I messed up. I've done a full reading vlog about this. I'll put it in the cards for you guys. But Powerless by Lauren Roberts is an incredible YA Hunger Games meets Red Queen all the tropes that you can imagine put in this book kind of situation. Lauren Roberts just wanted to write this book because she wanted to write a book. She has been writing it since she's been about 18. I think this took her about 3 years to write. I was watching the entire journey on Book Talk right from the beginning. I absolutely loved her video so much. And this is about, like, you have to go into a trial and there's a elitist and she is very different from everyone else, and you get to read it, and then there's other two in the series. Now this one I adored, and I'm not a massive fantasy reader, and if I do read fantasy it has to have a lot of romance in. Now this is a lot of tension, a lot of tension, and you're ending it and you're like So if you want a good fantasy YA book, something easy, if you've not really read many fantasies before, this is the one I would highly recommend to read this one. Because if you've not read fantasy before or you wanted something easy, this is definitely the book. This is most people's gateways into fantasy books. I would highly recommend to read it, and it is just fabulous. Like, I can't say anything else other than it is so incredible. It is something very different, but like I said, it does have like Hunger Games and Red Queen vibes. So if you've read them before, you might see some inspiration pulled from them. There's definitely inspiration from Hunger Games, which I was very happy about because I hated Hunger Games, but I liked this vibe. Now, the second to last book, we all recognise this cover, don't we? And this is actually the trad paperback version because I'm not a hardback girly. So I ordered myself the paperback because I was not waiting until the proper paperback came out. But this is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Now, I've not read Iron Flame yet. Very sorry guys, that book is a chunker and the writing in these is tiny and it's even smaller in the next one, so I was scared to read the next one. I will be getting to it though. I've got an audiobook, so I'll be doing it at the same time. But this one, if you like dragons, if you like academies, if you like sudden death and you want your heart to be ripped out and shoved into tiny little pieces, semi-repaired again and then go boom and pull it apart again, this is the book to read. This will make you cry, this will make you laugh. This has every single aspect of a fantasy I enjoy. I'm, like I said, not a big fantasy reader. There is romance, there is spice, there is dragons. What more could a girl want in life? I don't know. I honestly don't know what more you could want in life other than this incredible book. There is a paperback out of it now, and there is going to be quite a few in the series, I believe. We've currently got the first two. The third one is coming out very shortly. That's coming out in January. So perfect fall read. Anything with dragons in, honestly, I will happily read. I freaking love dragons. There is a reason Goblet of Fire is one of my favourite books in Harry Potter. Dragons. But yeah, this book is absolutely incredible. There is incredible action, there is incredible romance, there is incredible world building in this. If you're wanting an all-rounder fantasy book where you want some romantasy, you're not really into fantasy massively, but you just want to give it a go, this is the one to go for. If you want that spice involved, I would highly recommend. The final book has been up here all along because I wanted to display it, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Calf by Laurie Gilmore. This is my collector's edition. I never bought a copy of this because I can never get my hands on the £2.50 one in the work. Back when that was there, I read this on my Kindle, but HarperCollins very kindly sent me this copy out. So this part, it says add gifted up here just because when you get a book gifted to you by a publishing company, you've got to put it out in your content. I got this gifted to me because of Book Talk and showing it on TikTok Shop. This is the exclusive to TikTok Shop. This is the exclusive edition. You can get other copies, but this is mine, and just look at this. If this does not scream fall, I don't know what will. Now, if you want to see what book from this series is in my TBR, go into my next video. Should be released next week, but this is absolutely stunning. We've got edges, we've got it signed by the author, and this book is just absolutely stunning. This book is absolutely stunning, and I just had to share it with you guys because this is one of my most prized possessions. I honestly was shocked when they reached out to me, little old me, and went, we want to send you this, would you like it? And I was like, yes, absolutely, I will. Yes, please. And this book is the perfect small town fall read. Now, this is about a girl who owned the pumpkin spice cat that her auntie left her. She moved here without an idea of what's going on. There's this cat involved. There is a very good looking farmer man who brings her pumpkins for the fall season, and it is just one of them books where you fall in love. It's one of them cozy reads that you just want to curl up in a ball and just hug and read and just enjoy the read. So this is The Pumpkin Spice Calf. This is the last one that we are sharing in this book recs video, and I hope that you guys will pick this one up, because this one is one of the best I think that I've recommended in this video. To be honest, I love every single one of these books. Now, these are all the recommendations I've given you. If you have any recommendations, like I said, comment them down below. I would love to see any of your recommendations. These are some of my favourites, and if you've read them, please do let us know. Don't forget to follow me on other social medias. You can contact me on here as well if you just want to have a chat about these books, or let me know, or anything like that. But yes, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see more content. You'll be seeing a fall TBR video that'll be coming out very, very soon. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time in my next video.